Get on the grid, sports grid. Morency Unfiltered continues. Thanks to Mike Blewett for stepping up and in with us as we continue the final podcast of the week. And we appreciate you joining us. We've done some interesting formats with the podcast, including some live tapings on YouTube. Trains, planes, and automobiles, baby. As we've got guests on, we do video formats, live tapings, take your questions, and everything else in between. But we talk NFL football with Mike Blewett. I want to bring up right now the news of the day, so to speak, or the news of the last 48 hours. And of course, these are pretty crazy times for everybody and very unpredictable times for everybody. We've never been through this before, right? In our lifetimes, in the last 100 years, this is the most unique situation other than, World War II and wartime situations. So no one can predict the future. But the talk over the last 24 to 48 hours has been, is the football season in jeopardy? Is the NFL season in jeopardy? Is the college football season in jeopardy? And I know a lot of people that tune into the podcast, either you're bettors and you bet on everything, or you are CFL football fans as well. And let's be real, guys. The CFL is starting to become into real question here. Now, I don't know. Like I said, none of us can predict the future. But yeah, we can and we can't. I mean, the scientists' charts and graphs as far as this virus have been pretty accurate and pretty bang on. Is this thing going away? I don't know until we have a vaccination, at least some sort of vaccination, at least that it'll start to mitigate itself moving forward. But so the CFL season starts pretty early, compared to when it used to. It used to be like Canada Day or like the first week of July type of thing. And now it's like mid-June. Now, when you consider you've got training camp and preseason and all that other stuff, you'd be naive to believe that the Canadian Football League is going to be starting on time. All right? Now, the only thing is the CFL season's too long as it is. And Zach Collaros, some of you would remember Zach Collaros, standout quarterback with the Cincinnati Bearcats in college. He's kicked around the Canadian Football League, but he's with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers now. He won a championship, actually. I've had him on the show before. Nice guy. But he's talking about how, listen, the CFL season's long to begin with, and guys in the CFL need to get paid. So he doesn't have a problem with like a 10, 11, 12-game season, whatever he was talking about, whatever's necessary. And I think that's what we're looking at already for the CFL. So, the CFL, I just want to throw it out there. But the thing is, the CFL season's too long as it is, right? But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. This all really started, and in fact, you guys know I read everything, man, right? So I came across one of the top experts, the top deans of sports law and entertainment, all right? And, one of these top deans of sports law and of entertainment at Boston College, sports business, ethics, etc., entertainment law. He stated it. He said, in my opinion, there won't be a college football season. And he's one of the head guys at Boston College. And he said, I don't think. And he goes, I don't speak for anybody. But he goes, in my opinion, there won't be a college football season. And Kirk Herbstreit's not exactly a guy that's going to rock the boat ever, right? Herbie doesn't rock the boat. So Kirk Herbstreit was asked about this, and he said he doesn't think there's going to be a college football season, and he doesn't think there's going to be an NFL football season. Now, listen, you take away people's baseball opening day, all right, it's heartbreaking. March Madness, it sucks, but March Madness was more just like a betting event. You know what I mean? Like, I swear, like even if they didn't play the NHL, and I'll tell you guys right now, in my opinion, hockey's done. They're not playing hockey again. There's not going to be enough time. Bettman and the league, they don't want to cut into it. I'm seeing GMs are talking about how they don't want to play in August, and They can't play in August because it's going to throw next year off. So I'll tell you now, in my opinion, the NHL is done. The NBA has a little bit more options than the NHL. There's less players. The NBA is more open to like tournament formats. If they could blast through somehow and still anoint a champion, I think the NBA would try to pull it off. I think the NHL is done. The CFL is going to be delayed. And I'm just telling you, look, the Olympics were canceled. And I get it. It's 11,000 athletes and stuff. But the Olympics are in late July going into August. All right? So if they're already canceling things in July, and every day that we screw this up, the response to this, it grows and it extenuates like another week. Like, I've heard experts say each day that people don't socially distance and each day that we screw this up, it grows another week type thing. Like you have to add on another week of us screwing up. And there's still a lot of screwing up going on. So Kirk Herbstreit, and people are like, well, Herbstreit's not a doctor. You should shut up. It's like, no, he's not a doctor, but he's the biggest analyst in college football, and he's giving you his opinion, saying that he doesn't think that he's going to be doing his job this year. And he stated, he goes, no one knows. Anyone's prediction. Oh, he doesn't know. Of course no one knows. But, if you're not, you'd have to be not paying attention right now to start realizing that, we're a couple of months behind the curve here, right? We're a couple of months behind the curve. So, I'm not giving up on the NBA. I've given up on hockey. I don't believe there's going to be hockey. Baseball, there'll probably be an 81-game season if they can pull it off. But like I stated, I don't know, right? Any of this. All I can tell you is facts. And the fact is that college football coaches and the NCAA are very aware that college football is in peril. Put it this way, Brian Kelly, Notre Dame coach, all right, not exactly like a pinko commie, you know what I mean? Oh, he's making things up. Brian Kelly said that if things aren't normal July 1st, like he's screwed, he won't be ready for the season. And Notre Dame play in August in Ireland. Yeah, like Notre Dame are going to Ireland. Yeah, that's happening. Notre Dame are going to Ireland in 4 months. Like, come on. Like, let's be real here, right? So there's already talk, and I'll tell you right now, there's no fans. There'll be no fans anywhere for a while. I think there'll be no fans at any sporting event for like 2 years type thing. Like, let's say hypothetically the NBA comes back and they bang off the playoffs in some tournament format or whatever, and they come up with something. There'll be no fans. College football is in a panic about not having fans because they make a lot of money off the fans because they sell like 100,000 tickets, right, for games. The NBA doesn't care about the arena gate. That's the whole thing. The NHL does too. Now, there's a lot of money at stake, obviously. The NHL also doesn't want to give the money back to people because they have everyone's money and they're not going to give it back until it's officially canceled. For lack of a better term here, man, the whole thing's a shit show. All right? So, which leads us into all we have is what we have. And one thing that we do have as of now is the NFL draft. And Roger Goodell is very adamant that the NFL draft is moving forward. Now, I'm sure you're all aware of what the NFL draft's plans were, and their plan was to hold it in the fountains outside the Bellagio. The Bellagio has a big sort of, waterfront property outside. It's the famous Bellagio fountains, Ocean's 11 and 12 and all that stuff in the movies. And they were literally going to have the players like in the fountain. All right. They were going to have the players in the fountain and they were going to bring them in the water and it was going to be a big, big spectacle. They were hoping to have 400,000 people crammed on the strip. Clearly, none of that's happening. So the NFL draft is proceeding. It's not going to be in Vegas anymore. They're doing it like from a TV studio, and the players are going to be at home. So it's going to be very like, Skype, and we're going to, send a whatever. Players are going to be stepping up and in, just via video after they're drafted. And it's going to be very digital, sort of very modern, like we're all living right now. The internet's going to break soon, guys. Everyone's online at the same time now. It's over the top. So the NFL draft's going on, but this story just broke as well. Roger Goodell sent a memo out. He sent a memo out that Peter King, remember Peter King? He's got a podcast. And Goodell's basically like threatening people. Of course, like even in a time of a pandemic, Goodell's got to be a jerk off, right? So Mickey Loomis, the GM of the Saints, said that you can't have the draft. Loomis said this isn't fantasy football. This is not a fantasy football draft that you conduct with a list of things on a piece of paper. There's a lot of work that goes into preparing for a draft. There's a lot of work that is done during the draft. And listen, it's very, very difficult to conduct. And we wouldn't be able to do it in a way that it would do justice to the process. All right. So that's what Loomis said in an interview to someone. And Goodell flipped out. Goodell also knows, how about this? The National Football League General Manager Subcommittee had a vote the other day. They recommended 6-1. 6-1 to cancel the draft. So basically, it wasn't like a Sports Illustrated polled 7 GMs. No, this is the subcommittee. So Goodell's like freaking out because Goodell knows that they don't want to do it. So look, 7 general managers are on this committee. 6 of them said we shouldn't have the draft. We can't have the draft. NFL subcommittee recommended, a GM committee voted by a 6-1 recommendation to delay the draft due to concerns of the ability for teams to gather information about draft prospects. Teams usually have an opportunity to go through expanded medical evaluations and bring players into individual facilities to further evaluate the potential fit. It cannot be done now. As how the hell are you meeting anybody? There's travel bans. You can't even. You know what I mean? Like, how are you meeting people? And now you're going to ask teams to pick a draft pick, some kid they never met or they met once, and they're going to watch on tape. Like, I understand NFL teams saying this sucks. All right, like we got a problem here. Not that it can't be done. Everyone's in the same position, right? All teams, you're all in the same boat, but it is challenging. But basically now Goodell goes on, so sent them a letter, a private memo. Public discussion of issues relating to the draft serves no useful purpose and is grounds for disciplinary action. Goodell is threatening to fine anybody that says that the draft shouldn't go forward. Like, really, that's the type of leadership we're dealing with. And you see leadership is screwed everywhere right now. And you see, so Goodell is basically saying we're holding the draft, and if you don't like it, you can't tell anyone you don't like it. Suck it. Otherwise, I'm going to fine you. Goodell says in the memo, everyone recognizes that the public health conditions are highly uncertain, but there are no assurances that we can select a different date and be confident the conditions are going to be significantly more favorable than they are today. Goodell goes on to write in the draft and the memo, the draft will serve a positive purpose for our clubs, our fans, and the country at large. So, Goodell's thinking big picture. He wants the NFL to save the day. And, so, the only show in town and all that, and business, America goes on, and I get it. And I'm not ripping Goodell for it. I don't like the fact that Goodell tells them he's going to fine them if they speak about the draft. And you see, it's pretty significant that 6 out of 7 general managers on this subcommittee said that they should postpone this thing. So we move forward right now like the draft is going on. And Goodell's moving forward like the draft is going on. And so you hear right there was the internal memo that, yeah, the draft is going on whether you like it or not. And it's pretty clear the GMs don't like it. So we're running out of time on this show. Right here, but you can get the full podcast, of course, over at Apple iTunes, Morency Unfiltered. Follow Sports Grid on Twitter is the best way, at Sports Grid. You get all the links to like the different apps, but we're on Pluto TV, we're on Zumo TV, we're on Stir, all free apps, free. All right. A lot of you wait, well, when's the show going to be posted on YouTube? The shows are running like on these apps all the time as well, and it's free. And Pharrell's got a podcast as well. Check it out, Pharrell on a Bench. A lot of people are tuning into the podcast. And don't forget, me and Cam are doing Game Time Decisions on a daily basis as well. So I think the best place to go is at SportsGrid on Twitter. They post all the links for the different formats in which you can tune in, but you guys should already know all of this by now. Doris Burke, she of NBA fame. Doris Burke tests positive for coronavirus. And we wish Doris Burke the best. See, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, people are talking about playing sports and stuff. Like, everyone has this right now, doesn't know they have it, or are really sick and has it. It's a domino effect that it's going to be very, very challenging. Next week on the podcast, we'll get into what the future of sport is going to look like over the next year and a half or so. Because as I stated, there's no way they're going to be bringing fans back anytime soon in any capacity. It's going to be too dangerous. Like, college football is sort of like accepting this right now, that college football, listen, there's so much money at stake with television with college football that they're going to play even without fans, but they're still going to lose a ton of money if they have no fans. And the problem is, if you're living in a situation where it's too dangerous for fans to be there, then therefore it's too dangerous for the players to be there and the cameramen to be there and the coaches. All these coaches are old, man. College football coaches. Nick Saban's like 70 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the most vulnerable ones. Like, they're the most vulnerable ones. As I look up on my screen and I see Tony Kornheiser right now. Yeah, like Tony Kornheiser's going and sitting in a press box right now. All right, so stay safe out there, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. And don't forget to subscribe so you get all the updates and notifications of all the shows on YouTube. And, of course, Apple, iTunes. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.